Hi guys! Today's video is about emission in Hunter x Hunter. Let's get started. Emission is the nen category that involves separating one's aura from their body. Naturally, aura loses much of its power when separated from the user's body. However, being an emitter diminishes this natural effect and makes separating aura from your body much easier, without losing as much potency as it usually would. In the water divination test, the one where you use a glass of water to figure out your nen type, if the water changes color, it usually means the person is an emitter. I think this happens because emitters are great at projecting their aura with a lot of power, and they don't lose that intensity even when it's sent into the water. All that strong focused energy is enough to give the water its own color, since aura tends to have a unique hue depending on the user. We've seen this with a bunch of emitters, like Pockel's arrows, Razor's energy ball, and Silva Zoldic's spheres. Even non-emitters like Uvogan with his Big Bang impact show that aura can have a distinct color. So it makes sense that when an emitter's energy hits the water, it's so potent and vivid that it literally changes the water's color. Maybe I'm just overthinking, but for me that kind of makes sense. So, how can separating aura from your body actually help you? The most classic example is the good old aura blasts. It's pretty straightforward. You take your aura, separate it from your body as blasts, and since enhancement is right next to emission on the nen chart, it's way easier to boost those blasts, making them way deadlier. That's exactly what Franklin does, with the limitation of having to remove his fingertips to shoot. But hey, it works for him. It also helps that he's an emitter-enhancer midpointer, so he's even closer to enhancement than a pure emitter would be. On top of that, manipulation is the other category adjacent to emission, which is super useful. For example, with aura blasts, you could control the projectiles midair and catch your opponent off guard. But let's move past aura blasts for a second. Emission can also create nen constructs. A great example is Razor's 14 Devils. These are emitted nen beasts that he can control easily because emission is right next to manipulation. They're crazy powerful and give him a huge advantage, so yeah, emission has nen beasts going for it too. Emission is also very likely what Isaac Netero uses to create his 100-type Guanyin Bodhisattva statue. Since emission is adjacent to his main category, enhancement, it makes sense. It's not confirmed though. He definitely uses manipulation to control the statue, and manipulation is super far from enhancement, so some people think it could be conjuration. But why bother with conjuration when emission does the job just fine? Now, let's talk about emission's fancier tricks, like creating pocket dimensions and teleportation. This is where Kanav's ability, Hide and Seek, comes in. He creates this massive space with 4 levels and can make portals by drawing these circles with inscriptions on the ground. Each portal leads to one of the 21 rooms inside his pocket dimension. The utility here is insane. It's basically teleportation, though you have to pass through his nen mansion first. But emission isn't only useful for creating the pocket dimension, it's also what keeps the portals active even when Kanav is miles away. Without emission, the portals would just vanish the moment he left the area. So, yeah, big win for emission here. And then there's Nav's other busted ability, Scream. He creates a portal between his hands, wraps it around his opponent. Whatever's inside gets sent straight to one of the rooms in his nen mansion. If he only covers half of his opponent's body and closes it, well, let's just say it's game over for them. It's interesting because no clear limitations were given for this ability. Imagine if Kanav somehow got close enough to Meruem, probably from behind, and managed to wrap him with Scream. He could potentially one-shot the king. No poisonous bomb needed. But let's be real, there are probably some limitations. For example, Meruem could just coat his body with nen, and if his aura was stronger than Kanav's, which it definitely would be, nothing would happen. This is just my guess though. Nothing's confirmed. Now let's talk about a super advanced application of emission. Something that, before the Succession War, people would have probably just chalked up to specialization. Take Lynchful Bako's ability. Mindfulness, for example. It forces someone to tell the truth by punching them. Here's how it works. She asks a question, punches the target, and then both she and the target hear the answer in their minds. If she keeps punching the poor target, the response gets more detailed. However, Emission's capabilities don't stop there. It can also be used to transfer damage from one thing or person to another. It's a very abstract application of, just taking your aura away from your body, and Terebellum is a perfect example of this. His ability, Sweet Home, works in the following way. If Terebellum touches something with his right hand when it takes damage, he can absorb that damage into himself. Then he can transfer it to whatever his left hand is touching. However, there's a limitation. He has to touch the object while the damage is happening for it to work. On top of that, he has a passive effect. If he's taking damage himself, he can transfer it to whatever his left hand is touching, since it's the hand responsible for transferring the damage he's taken to anything else. But if he messes up, like trying to absorb damage with his right hand, but failing to touch something with his left hand takes the hit instead. Pretty useful ability, to say the least. All these examples show how versatile Emission can really be, and I hope you guys got the message. And that was it for today.